Hi everyone, I'm Jackie and I'm here to help you pass your U.S. citizenship interview. Today I'm going to explain the Part 12 questions in the N400 application in a simple and easy way so you can understand them. Are you ready? Let's get started. All right, first question. Have you ever claimed to be a U.S. citizen? Have you ever said you are a U.S. citizen? Number 2. Have you ever registered to vote in any federal, state, or local election in the United States? Have you ever signed up to select a candidate in a U.S. election? Number 3. Have you ever voted in any federal, state, or local election in the United States? Have you ever selected a candidate in a U.S. election? Number 4, Part A. Do you now have, or did you ever have, a hereditary title or an order of nobility in any foreign country? Do you have a title like a prince or princess, or a position given by a king or queen in another country? And if you answered yes, the officer may ask you, are you willing to give up any inherited titles or orders of nobility that you have in a foreign country at your naturalization ceremony? Are you willing to abandon these titles at the oath ceremony? Number 5. Have you ever been declared legally incompetent or been confined to a mental institution? Were you ever told by a doctor that you were mentally ill and you couldn't make decisions for yourself? Or were you ever required to stay in a mental hospital? Number 6. Do you owe any overdue federal, state, or local taxes? Do you owe any money to the government? If you owe money, that's okay, but make sure you have a payment plan set up with the IRS and bring proof of those payments to show your account is up to date. Number 7. Have you ever not filed a federal, state, or local tax return since you became a lawful permanent resident? Have you ever not sent in your tax paperwork since you got your green card? If you always file your taxes, then you say, no, I've always filed my taxes since I got my green card. If you haven't filed taxes for a valid reason, that's okay, such as your income was below the threshold or you're a dependent, for example. If you answered yes, the officer may ask, did you consider yourself to be a non-U.S. resident? Have you ever said you didn't live in the U.S. on any tax return? Number 8. Have you called yourself a non-U.S. resident on a federal, state, or local tax return since you became a lawful permanent resident? Have you ever said that you didn't live in the U.S. on any tax return since you got your green card? Number 9. Have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with any organization, association, fund, foundation, party, club, society, or similar group in the United States or in any other location in the world? Are you a member of an organized group? If you answer yes, you have a few other questions to answer. A little mini break. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Oh, hope you're doing okay today. Okay, you ready? Let's do it. Number 10. Have you ever been a member of or in any way associated with the Communist Party? Were you ever a member of a group that believes the government should own and control everything? For example, North Korea. Any other totalitarian party? Were you ever a member of a group that believes the government should control everything people do? A terrorist organization? Were you ever a member of a group that uses violence for political or religious purposes? Number 11. Have you ever advocated the overthrow of any government by force or violence? Have you ever supported the removal of any government by force or violence? Number 12. Have you ever persecuted any person because of race, religion, national origin, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion? Have you ever hurt someone badly because of their race, religion, where they're from, their social group, or political views? Don't worry about the following questions if you were born after 1945. Between March 23, 1933 and May 8, 1945, did you work for or associate in any way with the Nazi government of Germany? Any government in any area occupied by, allied with, or established with the help of the Nazi government of Germany? Any German, Nazi, or SS military unit, paramilitary unit, self-defense unit, vigilante unit, citizen unit, police unit, government agency or office, extermination camp, concentration camp, prisoner of war camp, prison, labor camp, or transit camp? All these questions mean, did you work under the party for Hitler? Question 14. Were you ever involved in any way with any of the following? Genocide. Have you ever tried to kill a group of people because of their religion or race? Torture. Have you ever taken part in causing great pain to someone? Killing or trying to kill someone. Have you ever taken part in causing someone to die or trying to cause someone to die? Badly hurting or trying to hurt a person on purpose. Have you ever tried to hurt someone a lot because you wanted to? Forcing or trying to force someone to have any kind of sexual contact or relations. Have you ever taken part in having sex with someone when that person says no? Not letting someone practice his or her religion. Have you ever taken part in not allowing someone to practice their religion? All right, now let's take a little break. Grab some water if you have it, a little snack. Okay, let's start again. Question 15. Were you ever a member of, or did you ever serve in, help, or otherwise participate in any of the following groups? Military unit. Have you ever joined a group that works for a government to fight in a war? Paramilitary unit. Have you ever joined a group that acts like a military group, but are not the official military? Police unit. Have you ever been a police officer? Self-defense unit. Have you ever joined a group that protects a community using weapons? Vigilante unit. Have you ever joined a group that acts like the police, but are not the official police? Rebel group. Have you ever joined a group that fights a government? Guerrilla group. Have you ever joined a group that uses weapons against the military, police, government, or other people? Militia. Have you ever joined an army of people that is not part of the official military? Insurgent organization. Have you ever joined a group that uses weapons and fights against the government? Number 16. Were you ever a worker, volunteer, or soldier, or did you otherwise ever serve in any of the following? Prison or jail. Have you ever worked in a place for people who are convicted of a crime or arrested for a crime? Prison camp. Have you ever worked in a place for enemy soldiers or political prisoners? Detention facility. Have you ever worked in a place where people are forced to stay? Labor camp. Have you ever worked in a place where people are forced to work? Any other place where people were forced to stay. Have you ever worked in any place where people were not free to leave? Number 17. Were you ever a part of any group, or did you ever help any group, unit, or organization that used a weapon against any person or threatened to do so? Were you ever part of a group that hurt someone using a gun or knife, or you told someone you were going to hurt them? Number 18. Did you ever sell, give, or provide weapons to any person, or help another person sell, give, or provide weapons to any person? Have you ever sold, given, or helped someone get a gun or knife? Number 19. Did you ever receive any type of military, paramilitary, or weapons training? Have you ever trained like a soldier or learned how to use a gun or knife? Number 20. Did you ever recruit, enlist, conscript, or use any person under 15 years of age to serve in or help an armed force or group? Have you ever asked or forced anyone younger than 15 years old to join a group that uses weapons? Number 21. Did you ever use any person under 15 years of age to do anything that helped or supported people in combat? Have you ever used anyone younger than 15 years old to fight in a war? All right, let's take a little break before we get into all the crimes. Hopefully that's super simple for you, so you don't have any crimes, hopefully. Stretch. Okay. Number 22. Have you ever committed, assisted in committing, or attempted to commit a crime or offense for which you were not arrested? Have you ever broken the law, helped someone break the law, or tried to break the law without getting caught? Number 23. Have you ever been arrested, cited, or detained by any law enforcement officer for any reason? Have you ever been caught, given a ticket, or taken to jail by the police, immigration, or U.S. military? Traffic tickets are citations. So if you've ever gotten a traffic ticket, you need to answer yes to this question. For more information, check out this video. Number 24. Have you ever been charged with committing, attempting to commit, or assisting in committing a crime or offense? Have you ever gone to court for breaking the law, trying to break the law, or helping someone break the law? Number 25. Have you ever been convicted of a crime or offense? Has a jury ever told you that you were guilty of breaking the law? Number 26. Have you ever been placed in an alternative sentencing or rehabilitative program? Have you ever been asked by a judge to join any program to help you become a better person? Number 27. Have you ever received a suspended sentence, been placed on probation, or been paroled? Have you ever been given a delayed punishment, reported to an officer regularly instead of jail time, or allowed to leave prison early? And if you answer yes to that, the officer may ask, have you completed the probation or parole? Did you finish probation or parole? Number 28. Have you ever been in jail or prison? Have you ever been held by police for the crime you committed? And if you answer yes, the officer may ask, how long were you in jail or prison? How long were you held by police for the crime you committed? Okay, number 30. Have you ever been a habitual drunkard? Have you ever drank too much alcohol regularly? Been a prostitute or procured anyone for prostitution? Have you ever had sex for money, paid for sex, or helped someone get sex for money? Sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics? Have you ever sold or transported drugs, such as cocaine or heroin? Been married to more than one person at the same time? Have you ever had more than one spouse at the same time? Married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit? Have you ever married someone to gain something, such as a green card? Helped anyone to enter or try to enter the United States illegally? Have you ever broken the law to help someone enter the U.S.? Gambled illegally or received income from illegal gambling? Have you ever played games for money that is not allowed under the law? Failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony? Have you ever refused to support your children or pay money to your ex-spouse after a divorce? Or made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States? Have you ever lied to the government to get money that helps you, such as food stamps? Number 31. Have you ever given any U.S. government officials any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading? Have you ever told any U.S. government officials things that are not true? Number 32. Have you ever lied to any U.S. government officials to gain entry or admission into the United States or to gain immigration benefits while in the United States? Have you ever told U.S. government officials things that are not true in order to enter the U.S. or get benefits such as a green card in the U.S.? The next 4 questions are really similar, and they're basically asking the same thing. Number 33. Have you ever been removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Have you ever been forced by the U.S. government to leave the U.S., stopped from entering the U.S., or sent back to your country? Number 34. Have you ever been ordered, removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? Have you ever been told by the U.S. government to leave the U.S., stopped from entering the U.S., or sent back to your country? Number 35. Have you ever been placed in removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings? Has the U.S. government ever tried to make you leave the U.S., stop you from entering the U.S., cancel your immigration status, or send you back to your country? Number 36. Are removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings currently pending against you? Is the U.S. government currently trying to make you leave the U.S., stop you from entering the U.S., cancel your immigration status, or send you back to your country? How are you doing? Is this helping you to better understand the questions? Leave me a comment. I want to hear. All right, let's get back. Number 37. Have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever worked in the U.S. military? If you answered no, skip to question 44. Number 38. Are you currently a member of the U.S. Armed Forces? Are you working in the U.S. military now? If you answer yes, the officer may ask, are you scheduled to deploy overseas, including to a vessel, within the next 3 months? Is the U.S. military sending you out of the U.S. or onto a ship in the next 3 months? And if you answer yes, the officer may ask, are you currently stationed overseas? Are you working outside of the U.S. now? Number 39. Have you ever been court-martialed, administratively separated or disciplined, or have you received an other than honorable discharge while in the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever been punished or fired from the U.S. military? Number 40. Have you ever been discharged from training or service in the U.S. Armed Forces because you were an alien? Have you ever been fired from the U.S. military because you were from another country? Number 41. Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever left the U.S. so that you didn't have to join the U.S. military? Number 42. Have you ever applied for any kind of exemption from military service in the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever provided any reasons so that you didn't have to work for the U.S. military? Number 43. Have you ever deserted from the U.S. Armed Forces? Have you ever run away from your duty in the U.S. military? If you are not a man, skip to question 45. So number 44. Are you a male who lived in the United States at any time between your 18th and 26th birthdays? Are you a man? If you answered yes, did you live in the U.S. between your 18th and your 26th birthday? If you answered yes, you may need to register for the Selective Service. For more information, check out this video. All right, we're getting towards the end and the most important question, so I hope you're still awake. So make sure you're familiar with these questions and what they mean, okay? Let's start. Number 45. Do you support the Constitution and form of government of the United States? Do you accept the Constitution and form of government of the United States? The officer might ask, what is the Constitution? You should remember this from your civics questions. It's the supreme law of the land. And the officer might also ask, what is the form of government of the United States? The answer is republic, not Republican. That's a political party. It's republic. Number 46. Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Do you understand the promises you will make during the oath ceremony? The officer might also ask, what is the oath of allegiance? It's a promise to be loyal to the United States. Number 47. Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Are you willing to say the oath of allegiance to the U.S.? Number 48. If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States? If the U.S. government needs your help during a war, are you willing to carry or use a weapon, such as a gun, to fight for the U.S.? Number 49. The law requires it. Are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces? If the U.S. government needs your help during a war, are you willing to help out with work that doesn't involve fighting or using a weapon? And if the officer asks for an example, you can say cooking or translation for the soldiers. And last one, number 50. If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction? If the U.S. government needs your help during a disaster, such as an earthquake, are you willing to help? If the officer asks for an example, you can say, passing out clean water with the Red Cross. All right, that's it. What'd you think? It's really not that bad once you break it down. I hope this helped. Leave me a comment, and if you want your own mock interview with us, check out the link in our description. Take care, study hard. Bye.